Our nation is founded on the principle that we do not have kings, we have presidents. And the Constitution is our compasses. When you see something that is not right, not just, not fair, you have a moral obligation to say something, to do something. Our children and their children will ask us, what did you do? What did you say? For some, this vote may be hard, but we have a mission and a mandate to be on the right side of history.
The conscience of Congress, John Lewis, civil rights hero and longtime congressman from Atlanta, Georgia, passed away this weekend after a months-long battle with cancer. Joining our conversation, host of the brand new show, debuting tonight, The ReidOut, premiering at 7 o'clock, my friend and colleague, Joy Reid. I'm so happy about this news. I'm so happy that I get to watch you every night at 7 o'clock. You're so important to telling the story of this presidency and this political moment. And I just want to send you my congratulations first.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I truly appreciate you. Thank you.
I heard you Friday night at about 11:50 call into Brian Williams' live broadcast when this very sad news broke. And then I stayed for the 1 hour documentary you had done about Congressman Lewis. And I really wanted to ask you about something you said that night. You talked about what he thought of this generation of activists. And it gave me a teeny bit of solace that he was heartened by the Black Lives Matter movement, by the swelling numbers and the diversity of support for them. Can you talk about that a little more?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I once saw John Lewis interact in Atlanta with some Black Lives Matter activists who were, you know, just really crying out. I think this was in 2015. And there were just so many of these cases of Black young men and women, you know, being killed by police or harassed by police. And there was just so much anger that they felt. And he came out and he had this really gentle spirit. And he said to them, basically, I was you, you know, I know what it is to be angry, to want to scream out and cry out against injustice and want to, you know, curse injustice out, you know, but that, you know, it was a living example of having taken that spirit of protest, you know, his angry 1963 speech that he wanted to give where the White House was ready to start playing music really loud to drown him out. They were so afraid of what he was going to say, to, you know, emerging as this sort of beacon of being able to work with everyone on the Hill, probably the most liked member other than Elijah Cummings on the Hill. The two of them were probably the best liked people in Congress. And also somebody who never stopped being fierce, though. And he never stopped being angry at injustice. And he never gave up on the idea that we could do better and had to do better. And that if something was wrong, he had to kneel. You know, even with all of the physical ailments that he felt, he still felt that he needed to go down on one knee and kneel with the protesters and do that symbolically in the halls of Congress. So he never stopped being that young man. And God bless him. God bless his memory.
Well, and the sound we played was from impeachment. I remember, I think I was anchoring when that happened, and you could almost put that frame around literally everything that's happening. I mean, I think there he was saying to his Republican colleagues in the House and the Senate, just look at what we can all see. The abuse of power is in front of all of you. Just do the right thing. Do the right thing for your kids, for your family. How do we get back to that? How do we crawl back? We are so far from that. The New York Times reporting this weekend about a secret society of governors who have to meet without staff to bypass all the disinformation and incompetence coming from the federal government. I mean, we're so far from what he called for just in December.
No, and it's I was listening to that segment, and it literally boggles my mind that grown men and women have to sneak around and meet to save the lives of their own constituents because they're afraid that Donald Trump will be mad at them if they save people's lives. This is insane. And you know, John Lewis died only a few hours after C.T. Vivian, who was another hero of the civil rights movement. And there's this video of C.T. Vivian confronting not Bull Connor, but a guy who's standing near Bull Connor and still espousing the same attitudes, but who's silent. And he says to him, "Why are you following him? Why are you letting him drag you into the pit of hell, dragging you into the worst depths of history? He's dragging you toward Nazism. Why are you letting him do that? You need to man up and walk away from him. And John Lewis was crying out to Republicans, you can walk away from him. You don't have to do this. Yeah. The idea that you would I think about the Florida governor almost every day because I still have so many friends down there. You really would rather let people die than defy this one man? He's not God. He's just a man. But the cowardice that you see on the Hill right now, and you talk about this all the time, Nicole, out of Republicans is shocking when there are lives at stake. John Lewis was literally 17 years old when he started defying the police who could kill him in the street. He was 23 when he got up in front of 250,000 people and spoke before the March on Washington. King didn't even make 40, and he laid down his life in this country. He was 26, John Lewis, when he got beaten in the head. These were basically kids, and they had more courage than a member of Congress, of the Senate. The kids in Florida, who marched against gun violence after they faced a gunman in school, they were like 17. I met those kids. Those kids have the spirit of John Lewis, the Parkland kids. These men in Congress, these women in Congress, how dare they risk people's lives because they think Trump will be mad and he'll tweet at them? Pathetic.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.